Huh.
Oh, that's a gun!
How are you not dead?
Oh, that's not mine! I said run!
Quick! What do I do? Oh my god, I don't have any weapons! I have rocks.
I love rocks.
I love rocks. Okay, so I was gonna talk about bullets for a minute and talk about how the gameplay concept is super cool and how fun it is and whatnot. But then I just sort of decided the game is actually not that good. And so I decided to instead talk about a Roblox game that makes me twice as mad. Decaying Winter is not a game I'm qualified to talk about, since at the time of writing this script, I've in fact never beaten the game, and I have no idea how to use most of the perks. But I'm gonna do it anyway, because even though every single time I die in this game I gain a new mental illness, I legitimately think it is one of the most fun and well-made Roblox games out there, which admittedly is not saying much.
What the?
I'm waiting for you at the ocean.
Why are you in a red light, green light game? Jesus Christ.
Thompson.
Oh, what the?
I didn't mean to alarm you.
Oh my god!
Oh, also, the normal place is currently private because Roblox didn't like how Caldera Black was a cigarette. Right now, the best option is to go to the Last Stranded standalone place, which is currently running the normal Decaying Winter experience, with the only difference being that Caldera Black is now a little magic wand. It is very child-friendly now, you see. If there's anything you're gonna learn in your first few minutes of playing, it's gonna be one thing, and one thing only. Scavs don't care about your feelings. Ah! No! 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 What? Ah! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god! What? Why there's so many people here? What? Oh my god! There are so many different ways you can be killed in this game, and you'll find that out pretty quickly. There are traps, which are usually things which trigger when you walk over them. Status effects, which will chip away at your health until you're dead. I'm literally dying right now. Environmental stuff like fall damage and this stupid lava spinner. Your own stupidity. Your friends thinking it's so funny to put remote explosives under the entire team and kill everyone. And enemies.
Speaking of Luco crazy.
Ah! What kind of shovel man? There are a lot of different enemies in this game, each with their own unique way to make you want to tear your hair out. The melee enemies move towards you and will start slashing, cutting, and bashing you until one of you is dead. They are all mostly the same, except for this stupid knife guy who is fast, and I hate him. I will come back to Sledgehammer guy. The gun people are seriously dangerous if you don't have anything to use at long range. Obviously. But even having something to fight back with won't guarantee an easy kill. Getting ambushed by these guys while under-equipped is a death sentence. They can have shotguns, which will kill you in like 1 or 2 hits, pistols, which shoot moderately fast, snipers, which are honestly just unfair at times, SMGs, none of it matters. Just know that they will kill you if you can't run or fight back. Also, AK scabs. Oh! Oh, I would also like to just take a second to talk about how enemies can just appear.
Please. I got him.
What? Where the fr- I literally I can't even, like, come up with an idea of where this guy just came from. Like, you could be completely alone, confident in having nothing to worry about, and then suddenly get jumped by a sniper, AK scab, sledgehammer man, the knife guy, and a shotgun dude, all at once. Oh my god! Oh my god! What? Why are there so many people here? Scav wars can also happen. What? Oh my god. Scav wars are an event which increase the amount of scavs that spawn massively and increases the chance for them to fight each other. 2 large waves of scavs spawn, of course spawning melee scavs, gun scavs, and probably sledgehammer men. This event can happen anytime between night 6 and night 9 and is guaranteed to happen every one. Even though the holdouts are easily the hardest part of the scav wars, going outside during this looting phase is still incredibly dangerous. Scav wars spawn about 5 times the amount of scavs you would usually encounter, and if you anger a group, then you're pretty much dead. Seeing some body armor on him and he can just catch up to me, okay. The chances of you dying during a scav war are incredibly high, even if you don't make any stupid mistakes like I do in this clip. Oh, I blew myself up! Okay, that should be everything to do with scav wars. Sorry that took so long, I just hate scav wars now. There are also a handful of mini-boss type enemies. Most of these mini-bosses are abyssal horrors that are very spooky to encounter every time. But you know, there is also sledgehammer men. Sledgehammer guy is annoyingly strong and I hate him, and he terrifies me. He has heaps of health, and he uses stupid little sledgehammer, which is absolutely brutal. And some of his attacks can't even be parried. He moves pretty much the same as any other enemy, however he is surprisingly fast for someone who has about 6 million kilograms of body armor on him.
Oh, how is he so fast?
It is usually a way better idea to avoid him and save yourself the trouble. Or spend 3 hours playing Executioner to learn melee combat and learn how to properly fight him. But that sounds too hard.
I got him!
He is more uncommon to encounter than other scabs, but the game still treats him as one, sometimes spawning him alongside other ones during a holdout. Or, you know, multiple of him.
There's 2 sledge guys. Why? This is absurd. What? How? I'm just gonna...
So onto the entities.
Hello? Oh. What a peculiar...
Skinners. The Skinner disguises itself as a regular enemy until you try to fight it, where it will suddenly become enraged and reveal itself. And once this happens, it will become faster and it will do a lot of damage if it can land any attacks on you. Yes, it is seriously dangerous, but it can lead to funny moments.
Wait, what? What? Ah! I got jumped by a freaking Skinner and a shotgun dude. Alright, luckily the Skinner will deal with the shotgun dude for me, so that's pretty decent.
The Hanger is the dude with no legs that makes you want to kill yourself whenever you're near him, which is especially annoying if you're in the middle of a fight or about to jump over a trap.
He made me land on a dynamite trap!
He is very slow but does not need to usually catch up with you. He's probably the least dangerous out of the 4 demons. The Hidden is this invisible guy who has a good chance of one-shotting you. You'll know when he's around when you start hearing whispering. He'll completely ignore the automatic turrets that spawn, which pretty much means that your only options are to shake him off or kill him. As long as you have something to tell where he is, or you know where he is on your own, then you should be able to kill him pretty easily. Sicklers are these little crying dudes who get pissed when you get too close to them or attack them, or whatever else you'd expect to anger a demon. When he's enraged, he will be incredibly dangerous. He will move extremely fast, and will almost definitely kill you as soon as you're in melee range. He has a lot of health too, so even getting the automatic turrets that spawn to kill him for you won't guarantee you'll survive.
Ow. Ow.
Ah, no!
Oh, he's still here.
No!
Back open.
Why is he still here? What? Why is he still here? Why are the turrets gone?
Despite this, he's actually initially pretty easy to avoid, and if you have a gun, then pretty easy to kill. I mean, look at this clip. I see him in the distance, I open this box, get some random gun, walk over to him, and kill him with absolutely 0 problems. This is how you unlock Apostle, by the way. I'll talk about him later. Although, no matter how careful you are, sometimes the scabs are the ones to trigger the Sickler instead.
Decaying Winter. Oh, that sounds like fun. I really hope that that wasn't a scab that just triggered that, because otherwise I'm going to be fuming.
Alright, one last thing I'm going to quickly go over. So, the castle.
Oh my god.
I don't even know what you want me to say about it, man. I'm not the person to explain anything about the castle. Okay, so this massive portion of the map is labeled as danger, and if you try and go into it, you'll quickly see why. The castle is full of raiders and Sledge Queen.
Oh, wind! No!
Sledge Queen is stupid. Sledge Queen is so stupid. Are you seeing this gameplay right now? Okay, so she can jump way into the sky and slam back down on whoever she's targeting. She on occasion shoots at you with her arm gun. She does stupidly high amounts of damage with her melee attack. She can block bullets, and she has something like 1600 health. I have tried so many times to kill Sledge Queen, but I am actually terrible at this game. We tried the most brain-dead strategies expecting them to work. We tried using vagabond dog tags and impatient to rush into the castle at high speed just to see what happens, and we couldn't even get past the entrance.
This isn't The Last of Us!
We tried using Apostle to start off with a melee weapon and just see if we could parry everything. We couldn't.
This was a bad idea! This was a terrible idea! Why did we think this would do anything?
We tried a Berserker Zealot combo, but the problem is our Berserker, me, doesn't know how to properly melee fight Sledge Queen. We tried stacking Tick Spider Ticks, but unfortunately there are only 2 of us, and we're both brain-rotting morons. We tried so many things, and nothing worked. So I'm not going to talk about Sledge Queen, or the castle. You can go find out about it yourself, because I'm tired of dying to this woman. I just realized I haven't actually talked about the game itself, so I'm gonna do that now. The gameplay of Decaying Winter is separated into 2 sections. The first section, where you go out and try and find supplies without dying, and the second section, where the storm closes in until the safe zone is the only place left you can stay in, where you will have to defend yourself from waves of scavs. During the scavenging sections, your individual skills will be tested, such as how effectively you can manage your inventory, how well you can fight individual targets, most of the time, how effectively you can use your time, stuff like that. During the holdout sections, your teamwork skills will be tested, such as how well you can synergize your perks abilities with everyone else, how well you can defend one another,
Back off the bestie.
and how well you can avoid killing everyone with explosives on fire.
Well, you could have said something before you threw it.
Don't throw firebombs at teammates, you freaking idiot.
And whatever else, I guess. Each night that passes, the holdout will get progressively more difficult. The scavenging sections, I think, get harder after each night, but honestly, I think the difficulty with it varies the most. Night 1 could have a couple melee scavs, or 3 million gun scavs that instantly give you arterial bleeding and a broken leg. Okay, before I talk about the perks, the cool part,
That felt so cool, man.
I need to talk about the combat itself. A lot of comparisons can be drawn to Untitled Melee Game. Or Survival of the Fittest, but who cares, it's the same game.
What? He freaking two-shot me with his fist.
There are a lot of the same weapons and icons, as well as very similar combat mechanics.
Thank you. Thanks.
The biggest difference is the fact that UMG had a rock, paper, scissors type combat system, where block counters attack, shove counters block, and attack is unaffected by shove. In Decaying Winter, most attacks can be parried from both you and the enemy, and shove is mostly just for escaping a melee enemy or stunning a ranged enemy that's right in your face. I have no clue if this is a common mistake, but one thing I did when I started playing was overusing shove and not using parry. Your ability to parry is the only thing that is going to save you from living past night 3. It is the most essential part of your kit, which is why it is essential to find a melee weapon as soon as possible. Every melee weapon can parry, but fists cannot unless you bring honorable as a trait. You will need to learn how to properly utilize your parry if you want to survive in melee combat. Anyway, actually damaging the enemy is a major part of the combat too, I suppose. There are 3 kinds of attacks you can do. A short swing by left clicking, a combo attack by holding left click, and a heavy attack by right clicking. A short swing is a low damage jab, a combo is pretty much a series of short swings with a finisher attack that does extra damage, and a heavy attack does the highest amount of damage in a single swing. Some weapons do better with one attack over the other, and some weapons provide special abilities for a particular move. Stamina plays a pretty big role for these attacks. Sprinting does not use stamina, but it will not regenerate while you do. Each attack uses up a different amount of stamina. Shove does too, but parry does not. In fact, pulling off a successful parry gives you some stamina back. Certain status effects will make melee combat harder for you. Speaking of status effects, there are a lot of them in Decaying Winter. Most bad, some good. Most attacks you get hit by have a chance to inflict one or multiple of the following effects. Bleed, which deals overtime damage. Cripple, which removes your ability to sprint and decreases movement speed. Fracture, which decreases melee speed, damage, and removes your ability to shove and aim down sights. And Artery Bleeding, which is a more severe version of regular bleeding that does not degrade with time and can only be healed with a tourniquet. Of course, there are status effects triggered by specific things too, like Poison, which obscures your vision and makes you throw up. Burning, which does rapid overtime damage and can spread. Dizziness, which blurs your vision and makes your ears ring. And Exhaustion, which makes you move slower, and probably something else, I don't know. One problem that'll never go away for you is Systemic Infection. It is a permanent effect that does not initially do anything, but if you leave it too long without treating it with antibiotics, then it will tear up and can't go back down until you die.
I thought there was a guy behind you.
Systemic infection! Piss! Balls! No!
Stomach.
No! No!
I'm making...
It's the only effect that is worse the further down the bar goes. Tier 2 has very minor debuffs, like a slight decrease in defense and I think speed. Tier 3 has actual problematic debuffs, like general decreases in core stats like max health, defense, melee damage, etc. Tier 4 causes random tinnitus and additional stat decreases, and Tier 5 just straight up kills you. Now, of course, the most important status effect, Morale. Morale is a nightmare, and is a status effect that will make you absolutely hate the people you are playing with.
What part of I'll handle this one did you not get?
I don't know how the fuck I
It's so
died.
freaking dumb.
Now, if you're playing with good teammates who know how to not die, it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Got him?
But if you're playing with idiots, or god forbid public lobbies, then be ready for arguing. It is a status effect that applies to everyone currently alive, unless you're using damned for some reason, after someone dies. It stacks up to about 4 times, and each stack decreases your movement speed, melee damage, pretty much everything you need to, survive. Morale is a very immersive mechanic, because every stack of it you get in-game, you progressively get more hopeless yourself. They say every morale penalty you get in-game also applies in real life.
Oh, you only have 3.
You have 4. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill myself.
However, if nobody dies for long enough, then it will just wear off. Just be warned though, it will take a bit of time. Who cares about buffs, honestly? Like, yeah, they exist, but it do not matter. I'll talk about the Lazarus or Immolator buffs when I start talking about perks. Now, all of this stuff can seem a little overwhelming, and that's because it is.
What? Come on!
This game is fully aware of the fact that it will drive you to the depths of insanity, and so they added a revolutionary, never-before-seen feature. If you press 0 on your keyboard, your character kills themselves. That's right. Instead of waiting to be killed by any of the thousands of ways you can die, at the push of a button, you can do it yourself. When it's night 1 and you just got sniped, why look for meds when you can just kill yourself? 4 morale penalties? Damn, you live like this? I don't think so. You have a blitzer on your team? You're just gonna give them a free kill? Ain't no way.
Nobel, catch.
You're playing Immolator? Actually, never mind, you could probably just let the world do that for you. It's just that easy. The description of the game straight up says you will fail, so why wait? Perks are the thing which most heavily alter the way you play or fight, as well as what you prioritize. They all give passive pros and cons, some heavier than others. But the main thing that separates each from each other are their abilities. Now, to get footage for this video, I had to play all of these perks, and I'm bringing this up to say that I haven't learned or used most of these, so I may not be fully correct about everything, so just bear that in mind. Do not bother leaving a comment if you do not agree, I will delete it. Survivalist is the beginning perk which will be forced to use until level 5. You start off well fed and get a backpack. That's it. No special buffs or abilities, just start off slightly better supplied. You're essentially a sitting duck if you don't bring throwing knives and some gun dude shows up. Now of course it's nice having a backpack, but Survivalist is cursed with good RNG. Anytime you play Survivalist because you just want a backpack, the game will put a backpack in every locker no matter what.
Oh my god, this happens every single time I play Survivalist, man. Oh, here's a backpack. Arrows is nice. Is that another backpack? What? Why? It's night one.
Starting off well fed doesn't really matter, since all it means is that you have maybe one more night before you start starving like everyone else. Survivalist is very much an early game perk, since there's an absolute point you pass where you no longer gain any benefits from it. But starting off with a backpack will mean that you are able to collect more initially, even if you are cursed to find a few hundred backpacks anyway. It's said that if you use Survivalist while wearing a white shirt and blue pants with no hats, your chance of dying goes up by 96%. Hive Mind. You get bees. Have you ever played Summoner in Terraria? You know how you just sort of do whatever while all your goons do all the killing for you? Imagine that, but like in this game. Hive Mind actually has pretty good synergy with some other perks for its generously large disperse zone, which can stun and poison enemies. You can change the way your bees function before sending them out. Divide, disperse, and direct. I'm not going to explain anything in detail because there are a lot of perks, so you can look in the wiki for what those do.
God, this freaking perk is so easy, man. Oh my god.
I think I should also mention that Hive Mind is ridiculously easy to play. On God, Hive Mind is one of the easiest perks to use in the entire game for its free area denial, lack of combat decreases, the fact that enemies will just die around you, and the fact that the recharge finishes literally right as your ability runs out, meaning that you can easily spam it, makes Hive Mind a complete cakewalk.
All these hit markers are turning me on, gosh.
Excuse me.
You wouldn't understand.
Also, there are like 6 million different cheese strategies that use it, so if you're bad and afraid to actually fight and do cool stuff like launch grenades out of your arm and melt people with flamethrowers, then Hive Mind is for you. Arbiter is easily one of my favorite perks to use. Not because it's overpowered or anything like that, but because the knuckle boom is very fun. Also, the longshot is good for killing enemies you don't want to deal with, or groups during a holdout. Oh! Please remember though that it's called a longshot for a reason. The longshot is useful in the looting sections for taking out gun enemies, or really any other enemy you don't want to deal with. and this is a similar benefit to Artillerist's ability. However, using that is really loud and brings enemies over to you, so it's usually a bit dangerous if you aren't prepared to fight afterwards. Oh, also, you can blast jump with it, with both the regular ability and the long shot, but I wouldn't recommend using the long shot to blast jump. Whee! Very fun, but completely useless most of the time. However, it can allow you to make escapes when there's just too much to deal with, which every now and then does actually come in handy.
That was a freaking insane dodge, actually.
The jump can also open up some more loot routes. You are not immune to fall damage, but you are immune to cripple, so at least you can keep sprinting. Also, Arbiter is worse with guns, but then again, when do you ever really get the chance to use guns in Decaying Winter anyway? Arbiter doesn't alter the way you play too much, in all honesty. Yes, you will be making regular use of your knuckle boom, but your fighting style will most likely remain intact. Unless you run away the whole time and wait for your ability to recharge like a coward. It's a good melee perk with the benefits of having effective crowd control, the ability to take out high priority targets that other melee perks would struggle dealing with without getting punished for it, and increased mobility. It's fun.
Come here, babies!
Risk Runner gives you a big machine gun. It's pretty good in holdouts, but charges so slowly, with the only way to speed it up being to pick up ammo. I don't know what else there is to say about it. It's good with regular guns, I suppose, except for the fact that you can't ADS for some reason. Oh, also, since your machine gun takes ammo from what you find, you end up scavenging less actual ammo. Now, these are definitely annoying downsides, but you get a free machine gun. So, I mean, take from that what you will. Risk Runner is actually pretty good for frontlining, even though it's technically a backline perk, since, yeah, it's technically a gun perk, but there are absolutely no melee cons, meaning that you can have a pretty fun gun melee combo perk. The decreased scavenged ammo is definitely a shame, but the fact that your ability recharges from it 100% makes up for it. You will find a lot of spare ammo lying around while scavenging, and in all honesty, you'll find a lot of ammo that you may actually never get the chance to use. However, your minigun makes use from literally every ammo type you find, and the decrease doesn't apply to ammo you get from crafted guns. It doesn't take too much ammo to fully recharge your ability, and you could still use that little extra ammo for other guns too. Executioner gives you some cool little goggles which can see enemies through walls along with the silly little crimes they've committed. You get 7 metal for every melee kill you got after you take off your goggles. However, you'll want to keep your goggles on because every melee kill you get will increase your melee damage until you take off your goggles. Just careful not to break them. Playing Executioner is actually a really good way to get better at melee combat since it rewards you for being aggressive and forces you to get your hands dirty. Eventually you'll do so much damage that you'll be able to one-shot with light swings. Trust me when I say the damage on Executioner when you're on a roll is insane. You will be rewarded well for being skillful in melee fights. The melee damage of course makes killing enemies with pretty much any melee weapon a breeze, but even though the focus is definitely on melee, the metal you get from those kills will allow you to make some seriously powerful guns, and lots of them. Executioner does come with a handful of gun debuffs, which will definitely make it less effective for this, but the sheer amount of firepower you're capable of gaining from the metal makes it worth it. Also, if you really want to be effective, you could always just pass the guns to a teammate more suited for them. Make sure to bring throwing knives, by the way, since they count as melee kills as long as you've got a melee out.
No! I hate you!
Also, it combos well with perks like Sovereign since it gives a handy distraction, and Executioner can't afford taking too much chip damage.
And that's all I've done for this video. See, I initially had so much more planned, but I've been super lazy with working on this, and the footage has been taking up a lot of space, so I decided to just leave it here and post what I've done so far. Sorry if this is a super abrupt ending, but it is what it is. And please go and play the actual game, because it's already been shut down twice and may not be available to play forever. Anyway, here's the actual outro. Anyway, that's everything I'm going to cover. Although, I doubt this game is going to survive much longer. With all the blood and gore and whatnot, as well as some elements of suicide, I don't even think the standalone place is going to be around much longer. So if you have made it this far, and aren't currently doing so, play this game. It is going to kick your ass, but it is seriously satisfying to learn and master. And if you don't, then why the hell did you watch a child talk about it for like 20 minutes? Get out. Get out of here. Get out of here!
Warning. Agent on your team is down.